Okay guys, you saw a couple pictures of that greasy grimy head go into my cleaning solution, and there it is right there sitting on a stand. And I kind of, when it comes out, I blow that heater on it. That's just one of those diesel powered heaters just to drive the moisture off, and it comes out real good, as you can see. That's the underside, and they do tend to take on a little bit of a rusted look right there. It's easy to wire brush it off, but all the cooling passages, any rust or anything in there is gone now. Grease and grime is gone. We're down to clean cast iron, and it sat in there. I put that in yesterday, so it sat in about 24 hours. Maybe about 28 hours it was in there. And when I put that one in there, I put this one too. And I'm on the final stages of crack checking with this one. This is an L head. And I think I showed this one to you. And I just hit that quick with just a hand wire brush just to see how easy the rust would come off. And that'll clean up perfectly. And before I machine anything, I crack check it. I don't do the magnetic particle MagnaFlux. I do this penetrant and developer system, also made by MagnaFlux. There is some cleaner. There is a developer, and I had a bunch of crack check penetrant made by Dynaflux. It's the exact same stuff as the MagnaFlux stuff. So you put that, you clean it, you put the penetrant on there, you let that sit, wipe it off, and then you put the developer on there, and we have no cracks in this head, which is good. Very hard to clean it out of this very coarse cast iron here. That's why this is so red in here. It's just very coarse cast iron. It's hard to clean that. But the developer's on there. This is a very good head, not a single crack in it. So tomorrow we'll get this up on the mill, and I'll show you how we plane that perfectly flat. So things are moving along with the F-head rebuilds, and I'll be back with you just in a little bit after I clean this head off of the developer and what's left of the penetrant. Okay guys, there's two crates that I built this morning. I have the two crankshafts, one in each box for the two engines that I'm doing right now. And kind of sad to say, but most of the machine shops that I grew up with and started with are either closed up or the owners passed away. When I got going on this Jeep stuff maybe 30 years ago, I picked up a few real good machine shops that I liked, and the last one just finally went out of business, and I didn't know they were going out of business. I actually went to go see if we could film one of these blocks being bored out, but apparently the owner passed away without me knowing, and the stuff was auctioned off. So the cranks are going out because I can't find anybody that I trust, or that turns cranks to what I'm looking for. On the blocks, I am going to get a boring bar and bore the blocks myself in the shop here. So that may take a bit. I've been looking for a Quick Way or a Van Norman for quite some time, and that's one of those things seems everybody's real proud of, even if it's a piece of junk and they don't have any tooling with it. The prices are really creeping up on that. So I am trying to, little by little, set up an engine rebuild shop. You know, in addition to what I do now, I'm going to try and do complete engine rebuilds for folks, because a lot of people are having some trouble finding a good machine shop. You know, there's those Chinese blocks coming in right now, and they're just a disaster. I hear horror stories about the guys that have tried to use those, and these original blocks can be saved even if they do have some cracks in them. And I would always choose a good American block over one of those Chinese made ones, but I guess everybody's got to do what they got to do. But anyway, I'm trying to find some machines and things like that, and put it in that next barn that I'm building and have a complete engine rebuild facility. So if anybody knows of any machines out there, any machine shops going out of business, getting rid of some equipment, little by little I'm going to start buying pieces if I can afford them. And like I say, I'd like to have a complete engine facility. And but in the meantime, these blocks are going to get cleaned like the head. I need a bigger tank, but I'll clean these. I'll crack check these. The seats are going to be cut. I can deck this on my mill, and by then hopefully I'll either have found or have bought a new boring bar, something that goes right on top of the head, and I'll show you how to bore the piston holes just right, and then we'll hone them. So things are happening. I did want to show you some crank grinding, but that's not going to happen. And they're going out, like I say, they're going, I ship those out UPS this week, and I should have those back in a week or so. And they were pretty beat up, but I'll show you the finished product when it comes back and let you know how much we had to turn the rods and the mains. Okay, here on the lift, I have a CJ6 frame, which I am putting a stretched CJ3B body on, and I'll tell you more about this as it progresses. But I got a lot of parts here, and I am rebuilding the axles. They're almost ready to go in. Having a little trouble with with some of the spring bushings and spring hangers. The left rear was a complete disaster today, so I had to take that one off. But things are coming along. This one is going. This is going cross country. This is going to make a trip, I believe, in 2020 cross country on a Trans-America trail. So little by little, I'm going to build this one. This is not going to be a show-winning, perfect paint type Jeep. This is just going to be a it's going to be a mechanical and cosmetic rebuild, but more emphasis on go and not so much on the show. So yeah, it might be a little different than what you've seen, but this is going to be a little bit different. That's a skid plate for a rear mounted tank that we're putting in here. I've got a cross member going in here now. There's that spring hanger. It just completely came apart as I was taking the bushing out. There's hardly, that bushing was completely rusted in there. So I've got to get one of those on. The V-bracing has already been cut out of this, so it should be easy to get the tank in there. And like I say, I'll show you this one from time to time, and I will show you what I can on the F-head rebuilds. We'll plane that L-head head. I'll show you how that goes. Then I will crack check the F-head, and we'll plane that one perfectly flat and put the guides in, put the valves in, the valve springs and things like that, and we'll have the head on the shelf ready to go for when the block is finished. So there's a lot to do, but I'm gaining on it little by little every day. Got the rear axle finished for that frame on the lift. Waiting on I ordered the wrong bearings for the carrier, so I've got to get carrier bearings. They should be here tomorrow or sometime this week. Knuckles are on. Preload is set. Pinions in that guy, and the preload is set on that. So basically just knock some carrier bearings on, check the tooth pattern, and we'll be good with the front end. I have the springs here. So this will be a roller in very short time. And it's always good when they roll, and it's always good when you get all the pieces put together, because when it's spread out all over the shop, it takes up a tremendous amount of space. So we're looking to get that one into a rolling form hopefully this week. But in the meantime, I will show you what I can on these F-head engines. You can see how nice that cleaning bath did on this particular head. Cleaned everything right off. Passages are perfect. Okay, here's another. I'm jumping all over the place here, but here's another clutch I took off. I took this off to 65 horsepower Wisconsin that I was going to use in a snowblower Jeep, and I'm going to stick this one on the F-head. It's the right size. You can see how the ring, the gear will fit on the original flywheel. I'm going to have to make a plate, but I want to get all this done early so that when I balance this engine I could send out the flywheel with this ring and anything else. I got to put a piece of machine steel on there to catch a bearing. So I want to have all that on. I want the flywheel as it's going to be. When that goes out, everything can be balanced properly. So this has to come apart and be cleaned, but things are happening. I put my cutter together. That's an 8-inch cutter that will swing to cut the heads and deck the blocks and stuff. There's brand new inserts in there, so we are ready to go. Hey everybody, it's another day. Same video, but I didn't get as far as I wanted to yesterday. The L head, you can still see some remnants of our crack checking fluids. That is ready to go on the milling machine and be planed. But I figured since I had two F heads coming out of the cleaning solution that I would prep these up as well. Make one setup and then just do all three heads at once. I'm going to crack check this one, and I'll show you the steps on how to do it. On the F heads, you sometimes get a little bit of cracking from the valve to the spark plug hole. And if you got a head from a cold area and they screwed up their antifreeze solution, it can crack anywhere in the water jackets. But we're going to completely cover this whole surface here. Check this surface. And sometimes on F-heads, you get some cracking right here where the valve springs go. Not real common, but I do like to check it. So we'll spray those areas as well. And I'll clean it. And then we'll put the penetrant on there. And then the developer. And penetrant sits for half an hour. Developer sits for half an hour. So I'll be back with you after each step and show you. And hopefully we have no cracks in this one, but I always like to check them because it's a lot of work to get it planed perfectly flat, and you don't want to have any cracks in there. So a lot of things going on. I'm still working on those axles, and I want to get that chassis rolling as soon as I can. But in between that, I'm going to show you the process on how to crack check your Willys head, or even your block for that matter. When time comes to do the blocks, I'll take you through that as well. But right now, I'm going to show you how we do the F-head. Okay, first thing we're going to do is put our cleaner and surface contaminant remover on there. And when you're doing this, have plenty of clean rags. I use these blue lint-free auto body towels. So we're just going to go over this. I cleaned it pretty good, but this is the first step, and it's an important step. Just spray that down. The can has got a leak on it. You see it dripping everywhere. Sometimes you get cans that don't work with you. And then wipe it down. And keep wiping it until your cloth comes up clean. And you want to let that dry for maybe 10 minutes or so, or if you have a warm spot to put it in a warm spot. It'll be clean. All the cleaner will have evaporated, and then we'll get ready to put the penetrant on there. and that's where we'll be next. I'll be back with you in about 15 minutes. Okay, our head is nice and dry. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the penetrant on there. Better to put a couple light coats than one heavy coat. We want to get around these combustion chambers real good, but I don't want to build it up everywhere else real heavy. So, put a little bit on. Make sure you get everything covered just good. Okay, now that's going to sit on there for half an hour. We'll set the clock for 30 minutes, and I will be back with you at that point. And this is going to soak in to every pore of this cast iron. It's going to soak in everywhere, and then we'll wipe it off. We'll put a developer on it. We'll see if there's any cracks. You could prop this up if you want, make it level, but this penetrant will penetrate anywhere. And like I say, about 30 minutes. If you see it start to get a little dry, put another coat on. You want this to stay wet for 30 minutes. So this looks pretty good. I'll revisit it maybe in 15 minutes and see what it's doing. See if it's drying up. If you see it dry up, a little bit more on there. Keep that surface wet for 30 minutes. So I will see you in 30 minutes, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay guys, it's been about 15 minutes just checking in on this. You could see from the lights in the penetrant that it's still wet. We'll give this another 15 minutes and then wipe it off. I'll be right back with you. Hey everybody, just a little break in the action on the F-head work. This is a CJ3B body. There's Matt. He drugged this in here today. And he has this CJ3B. And this is the body he brought in for just some quick couple welds and stuff. Somebody has put a flat rear floor in it. It's a little tender, but it's savable. Somebody's put a floor in here. It's a little tender in there. But it is a CJ3B. Now Matt is trying to sell this as a whole project. He has the chassis. Does his engine run, Matt?
The engine runs. It's a nice CJ3A engine. It's a flathead. It's not an F-head.
Okay, so you see what happens with these kids here? They buy the worst stuff. Take a look at him again. That's what silliness looks like. There he is, shaking his head. He's like, "What have I done?" Here's some pictures of it on his phone. Let me zero in on that. Okay, there it is. It's a running, driving machine. Okay, next picture.
Alright, and then we got the chassis been finished on it. All the brakes are done.
Chassis looks pretty good.
New exhaust system. Ready to go.
Okay, chassis done, and like on most of these projects, where the guys get hung up is doing the body work, is sheet metal replacement, stuff like that. So, today we have a CJ3B with a CJ3A engine that runs good, a completed chassis, and I'm basically saying to you guys, please don't make me work on this. You know, somebody buy this thing and enjoy a kind of Frankenstein CJ3B, a little bit of wrong parts, but you can make it into something if you're looking for a project. Matt, what's the price today?
So the price today is $3,000 or best offer. All the sheet metal is there. I have both the fenders, the hood, the grill, windshield frames in great shape. It just needs a couple of seat frames, which I might even have one. I gotta look around. And it needs a good tailgate. But it's got the original rims with it. 15-inch rims.
What year is this one?
This is a 55.
This is a 55 CJ3B. Certainly is a project. If you want to run this around your farm or your property or something, I think It's solid enough to do that. It's got a lot of dents in it. It's got a lot of patina, I can tell you that. A lot of different colored paint on there. I think it will be good for that. If you want to do a restoration, you've got some body work to do, but nothing terrible. You know, I mean, well, it's a lot of work, but if you're looking for a project and you want to tinker away at it, this will be a good one.
This Jeep also started life as a trencher Jeep. So the frame is set up with the brackets for overload springs, and it also has the PTO set up to go with a trencher unit. And that could be for sale separately as well.
What do you got? You got the shifter and what else?
The shifter, it's got the special drive shaft that comes out on an angle and comes out back here, and it's got a geared sprocket instead of the regular PTO
Okay.
unit.
So Matt's got some extra goodies that can go with this. I think if we start working on this, and his vision is to put some patches in here and paint it, and then naturally, there he is. Take a look at him again. Hey, that's what that looks like. He's crazy. See, he thinks if we paint this, what color were you going to paint it, Matt?
We're either going to go with this original, I believe it's presidential red, or a like a forest green.
Do not make me put lipstick on a pig today. Do not make me do it. Matt wants to paint this, and I think he's a little premature on that. And then what he's going to do once he paints it, he's going to want a little bit more money for it because, you know, again, these damn kids of today, they don't know if they're coming or going. So what I'm saying is, anybody can use a project. Please get a hold of me, send me a comment, and I will talk to Matt, and we will make you the best deal we possibly can. I know this is right for somebody. So the chassis, you know, from the pictures looks good. I have not seen it, but I trust Matt when he says the brakes have been done, the engine runs good, things like that. So you have some you have some sheet metal work to do for sure. I would, you know, depends what you're going to use it for. Maybe leave that floor, it's solid, and maybe put some hat channel in. But if anybody's looking for a project, get a hold of me because I can't imagine that we'll do any better if we start working on this. And I'd rather not see the price go too high. And remember, Matt's trying to frantically make some money so he can start working on CJ3B number 8. And this is his first step in trying to unload some stuff that he doesn't need. You got the filler neck, Matt?
Yep, got the filler neck.
Okay, he's got the filler neck. Trying to get rid of some stuff he doesn't need so he can start tearing into number 8. And that one won't be anything like this. You know, we're not going to do any garbage work like this. But number 8 is gonna be a big project. So anybody needs anything on this CJ3B, you know, anybody can use this as a project. But just get a hold of me. I'll get a hold of Matt, and we'll try and make something happen for you. Okay, getting back on the F-head heads, and I'll see you over there in another 15 minutes, and we'll start wiping that penetrant off. Okay guys, it's been one half hour. I'm going to take the cleaner. Don't spray your part, spray it on a rag. And then wipe this off. Got to get in those combustion chambers good because that's real coarse cast iron in there. Get out of those spark plug holes best you can, and just keep wiping it with cloths until you have it clean. Okay, that's what it should look like when you're done. And as soon as you're done there and it evaporates and stuff, we're going to spray the developer on there. Just shake that up. Get in those combustion chambers real good. Couple light coats on there. Spray from a couple different ways so you cover everything. Get all the angles of those combustion chambers. Okay, that's the developer. I'm going to let that sit for another half an hour. And you'll easily be able to pick a crack out. You'll see a line form, and you'll see a crack easily. It'll jump right out at you. So I'm gonna let this sit for half an hour. We're gonna go over and see what Matt's doing on that CJ3B. And I know this video is kind of covering everything, but try and keep Matt out of the weeds today and not make him make a mistake on that thing. And we'll head over there now, and I'll be back to this head in about half an hour. Okay, it looks like Matt's fiddling with some hat channel over there. And like I say, we don't want to put too much time or effort into this. And just do a little bit of work and make the price go up. We're trying to offload this thing today. So what I suggested we do was make some nice pieces of hat channel and not put them in. If somebody is going to do this as a nice project, they'll have some hat channel to go with it. If not, you could easily just tack it in there and go. So, trying to get Matt started on making some decent hat channel. We've got some new pieces there, and we're making that angled piece, but on the on this side, the driver's side. So, what I did find out was that Matt does have a very good running F-head engine in case the L-head turned anybody off. Tell us about the engine, Matt.
It's supposedly a rebuilt engine, very few hours on it. It is currently in another one of my Jeeps, where it doesn't belong. So that can be swapped in. If you'd rather have the F-head, I could put the F-head in. If you'd rather have the L-head, I could leave that in there. The price would be the same. But the engine runs good, no noises. It runs really smooth, and the L-head runs the same. So
okay, so if anybody is disturbed that this 3B has an L-head in it, don't let that concern you. Like Matt said, he can swap in that F-head for you. And if anybody is interested in this, let me know. And let me know how you're interested in having it. Do you want Matt to put it together with the fenders, the hood, the grill, the windshield, all that stuff on the chassis? Or would you prefer to have the finished chassis separate and work on the body tub? So, like I say, if anybody is interested in owning this, get a hold of me. Let me know what you're thinking, and we can basically do whatever you want. We could put some quick hat channel in there for you. We can make your hat channel, and it'll go with the Jeep, and you put it in when the body is a little bit better to your liking. We can put the body on the chassis. We can leave the body off the chassis. Here's a fender. It's not in terrible shape.
the other one's pretty nice.
Here's another fender. That's not in terrible shape. How's the hood, Matt?
Hood's real nice.
We got a good hood. How's the windshield?
Windshield's mint.
Windshield's in very good shape. Glass in it?
Yep, it's got the glass. It probably needs a new gasket, but the glass is there.
Okay, and the grill?
Grill is good.
It's got the Willys in it?
It does.
Okay, so we've got good accessory pieces. I'll see if I can dig up a tailgate for somebody and throw that in if somebody wants this. I don't know what I got left for tailgates. Probably some rough ones, but I can probably scare up a tailgate for you. And this is where we're at on this. I don't think it's worth putting any time or effort into it, but I'm going to try and get Matt to make you some hat channel pieces today. Get him on the saw and the brake and stuff, and just get him going with the feel of making metal pieces. And we will not put them in unless you want them. So, like I say, if you know anybody looking for a 3B project, let them know about this one. Pass this video along to anybody you think might be interested, and let's see if we can get this thing sold so that we can finally get moving on CJ2A number 8. So send me a comment, let me know what you're thinking. Okay everybody, it's been a half an hour. We got the developer on there, and no cracks have shown up around the spark plug holes, deep in the combustion chamber, around the valve guides. So that head is good and ready to go. No indication of any cracking at all. So I'll get that cleaned off just with some of the cleaner, and I've got another one ready to come out of the cleaning solution. And we got Matt over there laying out some hat channel, and we're going to make some quality pieces for that 3B project. This is the rear hat channel. We're going to put some holes in it so you can plug weld it in there, and we'll put the correct holes where they went on the original. So I'll clean this off, and then I'll be back on some hat channel pieces with Matt in just a minute.
This is Jesus bringing back Lazarus from the dead.
Here goes Matt's rear hat channels. He's making stuff happen. This is what they look like before we bend them up. Good time to put all the holes in them. And you can see the holes are spaced so the bead falls between them. And he did a nice job of laying them out. And we are gonna see how he bends them up next. Lay that in there, Matt. There goes the original piece. We got all our holes in there. So we're going to bend these up now over at the brake, and hopefully we'll get some nice hat channel out of that. And like I say, these are being included with the 3B project. I convinced Matt to make some good pieces and just include them with the vehicle. So Matt's learning how to use some of the tools in the shop, and we're going to put them on the brake and see what happens. Alright, here goes Matt. Let's see if he can pick this up. There's 3 feet of 18 gauge. Let's see if he can pick this first bend up. He's realizing you got to put some ass into it. There he goes. Look at that. Fantastic, Matt. You can see him turning red there. He doesn't breathe when he's doing stuff, so he's all red now. That took the life out of him. That's alright. The next one, he's not going to breathe on the next one. He'll be real bright red. We talk about that. Got to breathe when you're doing this stuff. Look at that. He's figuring it out. Okay, here comes the second bend on that rear hat channel. Somebody's going to get some nice pieces with this 3B. I'm not going to let him mess anything up. Okay, here he goes. Number 2 bend. Do it, Matt.
There we go.
Got to mark this side. Matt's got to put a quick measurement on this. I'll be right back with you.
Yeah, it does look like it's bad.
Okay, here goes Matt. He's putting that third bend in. Everybody gets screwed up on this bend because it looks like it's going backwards. Let me try and get you in there. Okay, see how we're... Oh, Matt's in the way.
This side.
Okay, here he goes with bend number 3. Okay, that's bend number 3. Now we got to open that brake all the way up to get the 4th bend in there. And the whole hat channel is going to go in there. Those are special made. See those dies? Those are special made dies for this machine, so we could specifically make that rear hat channel. It's narrow. The other way, Matt. Come on, man, figure it out. Flip it over. Flip it over. Matt. No.
Oh, wait.
Come on. You gotta let these guys suffer. They'll get it.
Wait a minute.
Think it out, Matt. Think it out.
This guy.
Flip it around.
Go that-
Flip it
okay,
around.
Yeah.
Put the whole piece in there.
That's it.
I know we're making you guys suffer watching Matt, but you know he's got to learn sometime. Come on, pick it up, man. Get in there. All right, he's getting there. Hat channel screws up the new guys. That's the first thing that screws them up, is making some hat channel. But Matt's going to remember this one because we're going to hassle him. Pick it up, Matt. Fantastic. Let's see what comes out of there.
Look at that.
Okay, there's our finished piece. Let me get in there. You could see, look at all our plug weld holes are in the right spot. We've got our end holes in the right spot. This is ready for some weldable primer, and then that can go nicely on this CJ3B project. And easy to plug weld that right in place. So he's got one more to make, and we're going to let him make that one, and then we'll go over and look at that 3B again. Okay, there's the hat channels for the 3B completed. Matt just finished making the little crush sleeves that get welded in there, just like the original. So we've got the 4 of those in there. They're welded in, and that keeps you, when you put the bolt through, from crushing the hat channel. And Matt is going to go the extra distance and put some weldable primer in here, so these will be weldable primed and ready for you to install in your new project. So we'll get the weldable primer in there next. Okay guys, there's a completed hat channel with the weldable primer on it, ready to be welded into a project. And Matt made these himself, and he's realizing that he doesn't want to do too much on this 3B because he's got maybe 4 hours into these 2 pieces. First time he's made pieces like this, but he made those little U brackets pretty nice. Punched all the holes, did all the bending. So he's like a proud dad now with 2 pieces of nice hat channel. There's a lot more to do on that 3B, and like I say, we are hoping somebody wants that project. And like I say, these are coming with it. We're not going to weld them in unless somebody buys it and wants me to. But these are going to go with the 3B. And we'll take another walk over there and look at it. Now that Matt has spent half a day making 2 pieces, this is what he brought me today. Some various pieces of hat channel made up. And he was going to work that into some magic, but sees what it takes to make some pieces. So there are some pieces that need to be made here, and we're going to include enough of that hat channel so you can make it. And we're going to let this video sit and soak a few days and maybe see if anybody's interested in this 3B project. And I know this was kind of a lot of mixed up stuff on this video, so thanks for hanging in there with me. I am going to end this one here, and appreciate you watching. If anybody has any interest in this project, just comment down below, or send me an email, or contact me somehow.